Welcome to Let's Talk Football from the Western Knights Soccer Club. Today we feature Luka Jukovic, the president of Western Knights, and their coach Ronnie Campbell. So, let's talk football.
John. Here's Aloisi for a place in the World Cup.
Ronnie, a fairly tight or a tough start to the season?
Yeah, we won our first game away to Stirling Lions. It was a really good start for us, but obviously we've lost 4 games after that and sitting third bottom with 3 points, so it's not been a great start for us, but we've obviously lost a lot of quality players from last season, yeah.
And can you put your finger on exactly what is wrong?
You know, we lost 5 quality players. We lost Stuart Montgomery and Scott Bushby, Andrea Jukic, David Price, Shane McNally. They're 5 quality players, and when you lose players of that quality, it's always going to be tough. And we've brought in a lot of young players. We've promoted 6 of the boys from the under 18s, and you need to be patient with these guys. You know, it takes time.
In the 11 years you've been with the club, is this probably your toughest start or your toughest time?
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, we've had a lot of success. We've won 8 trophies. We've been runners-up 8 times, and we've had a lot of quality players, we've had a lot of experience. But this year we've got mainly young players, and we've obviously brought in some new players who are taking time to gel as well. And we've still got a lot of players injured. You know, missing David Arnold, still missing Ivan Zavella, missing Paul Cook, David Michevsky, Daniel Trim. They're obviously good experienced players, and we're certainly missing them.
And what's the story with David Michevsky? Is he anywhere close to coming back?
Yeah, he's actually going to be involved today. He's going to start on the bench. He hasn't played for 8 weeks, and we certainly miss him. He's a quality player.
There was talk that he might be going to Perth Glory again. Have you heard anything about that?
To be honest, I haven't really heard. I think he's good enough, but you know, we'd like to keep him, obviously, if we can.
So, which of the youth have stepped up, or do you think has stepped up to actually look as though they're going to be something for the future?
Yeah, well, Anthony Scorich, he's obviously training with Perth Glory at the moment. I think he'll go A-League, I hope he does. And the other guys that have stepped up and done well are Anthony Ferron. He's doing well for us up front, he's only 17. And in defence, Matt Allen and Josep Perrin. The 4 of them have stepped up, and they're certainly doing well, and they certainly deserve to be in the first 11 at the moment.
So what are your goals for this season? Obviously survival in the Premier will be number 1 at the moment.
I mean, realistically, we're not going to win the league. You know, we set goals to win leagues and win cups. We're not going to win the league, but you know, it's still a long way to go. You know, we win today, we're only 2 points behind Swan, and Swan are sitting in 5th position.
Yeah.
So we aim to make the top 4, and we obviously aim to win the cup. You know, we're in the quarter-final of the cup, and I think we're the sort of team that on our day we're as good as anybody.
The cup draw wasn't exactly very kind to you this morning. Did you hear it?
To be honest, I haven't heard the cup draw. No.
You're paying a little visit to Dorian Gardens.
Yeah, well, it's the way it goes. You know, if you're going to win the cup, you've got to beat the best, and I think they're the best. So yeah, no, we'll look forward to that. We always have good games against them, and you know, if we can beat them, we'll have a good chance to maybe go all the way.
Getting back to today's game, where do you think your main strength is going to be? And for that matter, I suppose I'd better ask you, where do you think your weaknesses are? Everybody knows. You just look at the goals that we've conceded. We're struggling in defence. I think we've got a strong midfield and a strong forward line. Certainly we've got a lot of options up front, but defence has been obviously our problem this year. We've made a couple of changes today. We're going to try to keep it tight at the back, and we're always confident we'll score goals, but you know, we need to stop conceding goals. Last week we had a good 4-1 win against Morley in the Cup. So we're hoping today to carry that on, and if we can get a win today, it should bring us a lot of confidence for the rest of the league season. And what would you say are the strengths of the Swan side that you're going to be facing today?
I've always respected Swan, I see, as a club. You know, they're a very solid team. You know, very much a team. They're not, you know, they haven't got maybe fantastic individuals, although they've got a lot of good players. But they've always got good teamwork, good team spirit. We've had some real battles against them over the years, and they're always hard to beat. They're well organised. They're aggressive, and as I say, they play with a lot of team spirit. And they beat Perth this year 4-0 in the league, and they're obviously doing well. And
we know that we'll have to play our best to get a result today.
What do you think of the support you're getting down here at Western Knights?
To be brutally honest, it's always disappointing me that we've had so much success at this club, yet the crowds have always remained pretty average, to say the least. I thought when we came to the club and we got the success, we'd bring back a lot of the supporters. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. I mean, I've always thought we've played good football. Where these people have gone, I'm not sure. Obviously, some of them watch Perth Glory. Some of them probably watch the Fremantle Dockers and the West Coast Eagles. But I mean, today's actually the biggest crowd we've had for a long time. And I don't know. I think other people obviously have got options now rather than soccer, unfortunately. And I think we'd all agree we'd like to see more people at local games and more people watching Perth Glory as well.
Do you think the promotion that's being done this year hasn't been up to the same standard as previous years? I'm talking about the overall promotion of the local game here in WA.
There's always room for improvement, I suppose. I mean, I think this sort of thing's good. It's good for the game. I think anything in the papers and on the radio is good for the game. And certainly, I think there's room for improvement there. And I think, obviously, as I've always said, I think Perth Glory have got to get closer to local clubs, and there's got to be a lot more communication and a lot more respect. I think that's been lacking in the past.
Do you have much contact with David Mitchell, the coach of Perth Glory, or does he come and see Knights often?
He does come and watch us quite a lot, and certainly, he's got Anthony Scorich training with Perth Glory at the moment. Obviously, we've had Tom Tomic, who has obviously gone to the Glory, and I speak to Dave. I wouldn't say on a regular basis, but I certainly speak to him from time to time, and I've always said I think there's a lot of good young players in this state. I'm surprised sometimes a lot of them don't get the opportunity, but it's a game of opinions, as people say.
True. Well, before we start the game, I'm going to ask you for your prediction for the game today. So give us a score forecast.
We would love to win 1-0, and I think hopefully that might be the result.
And I'll ask you another one now, another prediction 5-6 games into the season. Who's your tip for the actual league championship? Not Western Knights, I don't want you to name your own side. So who do you think is going to win the actual Premier League?
I think Perth are the best team. Sereno have had a great start to the season. Obviously, Manger are doing well, but I think it's a marathon rather than a sprint, and I think Perth have got the best squad, and I think they'll finish at the top at the end of the year. But that's just my opinion. Yeah.